Hey, what's going on? My name is Henry and this is Breakable Program. Today we are going to count down the top 10 worst characters in Overwatch. Now before I get into this video, it's not me saying that you should never pick these characters. Each character in Overwatch has a role to play and they should never be shunned simply because they are picked. This is just me saying that some characters are not as viable on certain maps where you could substitute them for a different character and that would be more effective. However, it does depend on the player's skill and comfort level and the map. This is just a generalization. A little disclaimer out the way. Let's get into the list. At number 10, we have McCree. A lot of people like to pick McCree because they want to pull off those sick headshots, but are often not able to deliver. His kit is probably one of the worst in the game. His flashbang is a nuisance, but needs a good follow-up that can be missed and is still dependent on skill. His roll isn't very far and has too long of a cooldown to be considered a viable exit movement ability. The fan the hammer ability is too inaccurate to be useful in any situation where a single shot would be more powerful. His ultimate ability is probably the second worst ultimate in the game and acts more like a suicide beacon than it is an actual threat. Oftentimes where there is a McCree, a soldier would be better, but he does put out a lot of damage when you do land those shots. And if there already is a soldier, McCree is still reliable enough to be used as a solid DPS, which is why he is at number 10. At number 9, we have Junkrat. He has the worst ultimate in the game, just a rolling wheel that can easily be shot down and often doesn't even get more than 1 or 2 kills. His bear trap isn't effective unless you are nearby and is easily spotted by the enemy. The concussion mine is fine and does a lot of damage, but his main gun is extremely inaccurate and is very difficult to secure a kill with. He does do a lot of damage, but it's spread out amongst the entire team, and by the time you're able to get to them, they've already been healed by their support. He is only effective at a choke point where everybody's grouped up close together. He is the only character that has this type of skill, dealing damage to a large amount of people, but it is useless unless you have a team that is capable of capitalizing on it. At number 9, we have Orisa. She is the newest character in Overwatch and was a bit of a disappointment when she came out. She is supposed to be used as an anchor tank, but the shield is too easy to walk around to be usable in anything other than a choke. The halt ability doesn't hold a character long enough to do enough damage. Orisa's ultimate is easily countable since you need line of sight of it in order for it to be usable. When there is an Orisa, a Reinhardt would be better. The only good ability of hers is the fortify ability, making her have more damage resistant and immune to any crowd control abilities. However, it is easily countered by just walking behind her and shooting her, just taking a little longer than usual to kill her. At number 7, we have okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. At number 7, we have Sombra. She has a lot of cool abilities that are very difficult to pull off. Her invisibility is useful to get behind enemy lines. However, as soon as she is spotted, she gets torn down by the enemy team. Her hacking ability gets disrupted whenever she takes damage, so it's difficult to pull off on a Reinhardt since usually the enemy team is behind him. And her teleport ability can be used in combination with her invisibility, but her main weapon does so little damage that even if you are able to get some damage off before you teleport back, the healers are usually able to heal them before you're able to do any real harm. Her ultimate ability is a very team-oriented ability. If you don't use it in conjunction with your team, it's basically useless, and especially in the lower ranks, it's very hard to coordinate an attack with it. That's why she's number 7. At number 6, we have Genji. His abilities are very good on paper. He has a reflect ability where you can literally reflect almost all the attacks in the game, including some ultimates. He has a dash ability where you can do damage and exit a dangerous area quickly, which resets every time you get a kill, which means you can theoretically dash 7 times in a row without stopping. His ultimate ability is a sword that does a huge amount of damage and resets his dash, so the theoretical number of dashes you could do in a row increases to 8. The only problem with Genji is that he is very skill reliant. If you do a reflect a second too early, you have no way of protecting yourself against an attack. Second too late and you're already dead. If you don't get a kill with your dash, you're often stranded in the middle of the enemy team without any means of escape. Your ultimate doesn't offer you any protection, so you can easily be killed with your 200 HP. So that's not good. Number 5, we have Widowmaker. You have to be a good aim with Widow. She is a straight sniper, and there are very few maps where she is viable, and the ones that she is, still need good aim. Probably one of the worst thing about her is not actually herself, but the kind of reactions she elicits. The most important thing in Overwatch is teamwork, and if somebody gets triggered, there is a high likelihood that your team is going to lose. I'm not saying that it's Widow's fault if someone gets triggered, but it's almost inevitable if somebody picks Widow. Number 4, we have Hondo. Hondo suffers from the same issue that Widow does. It's not so much that these characters are necessarily bad, it's the reactions that they get from their team. However, Hondo gets his treatment even more so since most newbie players like to play him because he is fun to play. Recently, they have made some changes to Hondo that make him more viable, but he still has a reputation of not being a good character. He shoots projectiles unlike Widow, which makes him less effective as a sniper, but cannot do enough reliable damage close range. He is a medium range character that needs good aim and prediction skills in order to be played well, and you don't find that too often. At number 3, we have Symmetry. She is good at stalling pushes and holding points, but isn't that good once you start moving. She is good at what she does, but suffers from the Hondo effect. However, one of her biggest disadvantages is the fact that she is classified as a support hero. She is the only support hero that doesn't heal. The reason this is an issue is because a lot of people are really focused on team comp, and when they see 3 supports but one of them can't heal, they automatically target her because they think someone else would be more effective. If she was classified as a defense hero rather than a support, I could see some of the hate going down. At number 2, we have Torbjorn. He outputs a lot of damage, but is a stationary character like Symmetry. He can build a turret and give out armor to buff his teammates' health. His main weapon is actually one of the strongest in the game and can do a lot of damage from range. The problem is with a lot of Torbjorn players is that they don't realize this and are more focused on keeping their turrets alive than actually using one of Torbjorn's biggest strengths, that's having 2 points of damage, his turret and his gun. And once you are on the move, you're not able to move your turret fast enough to keep up with you guys, even at a slow pace. Along with Symmetry and Torbjorn, they are both seen as a no-skill character, which adds to the negativity within the team. Finally, we have the worst character in Overwatch, Mei. She's a fucking cunt. Don't play her.